What's up, guys? Coming to you from Cinderella's Castle, Disney World, USA, here in Orlando, Florida. So, on the heels of yesterday, I was like super stressed, super tired, and I got a message from Paul George, who is my nutritionist, but more than that, he's a really good friend, and he's an honest friend. And at the time I got the message, I was already working through some of the things, but just some of the words that he said to me just kind of like smacked me into place and solidified what I was thinking. So here's what I know. I know that I am a very driven person, and I tend to push myself and pull myself in different directions, because I have a success-driven mind. And as I've almost stated before, or I think I've stated before, that it's paralysis by overanalysis. I'll have so many things in my head and so many things going on that I really want to do them all, and I don't know where to start. So I kind of get ultra focused on one thing, and it prevents me from doing anything. So I just started knocking out little stuff, and I think that's been a problem of mine, throughout my entire life, is that I don't delegate really well. Like, I'll get one thing and I'll kind of think on it and set it to the side, and then I'll get another thing and think on it and set it to the side. And instead of finishing things all the way through, what I find myself doing is realizing, oh my God, I've got 50 things to do now, instead of knocking them off as they come. So I just took a little bit of time to myself and just started chipping things away, just one by one, making decisions. Is this really that important? No. Good, it's done. Is this thing more important? Yes, this is really important. Let's focus on that. And I know I'm kind of I'm being very vague about it, because this is something that is very important to me moving forward. It's a project I'm working on along with the book that is going to be coming out very soon. Like I said, we've decided to push that back just a little bit. Not by much, but just to do it the justice that I wanted it to be done this time around. Because, as I said before, when the Cube Method was done, it was done honestly, but it wasn't done as if I was writing a book. It was done sharing ideas and sharing what I was doing. And this time around, I knew that I was writing a book, and I wanted to do it right. I want to do the pictures right. I want to do the cover right. Editing, everything else has to be perfect. So in order to do that, I have to back it up just a little bit. And with that, there will be coming some other things that I've been kind of like working on for a little bit. And I know I kind of ramble on and on about it, but it's something it's super cool to me, and it's going to be something that I'm just really proud of. So today was a day of delegation and getting things done. I got really good sleep. Most of the night I was able to sleep and rest, and then I got a pretty good nap today. So baseball is going pretty good. They won 2 games yesterday pretty handily. Today they were a little bit off, and they lost, but they still got a excuse me, talking about being tired and I'm yawning, but they got a 2 seed in the tournament against the other team from where I'm from, which got the number 1 seed. So both teams are playing extremely well. I think for the tournament, everybody's pretty much on par with one another. So I wanted to answer a couple questions that I've gotten. And, the point of this is to be informative about what I'm doing, to share things about myself that are like holding me accountable, but also informative in a way that maybe can help someone else. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So today I'm going to be talking about gear for powerlifters, raw powerlifters specifically. Belt, wrist wraps, knee sleeves, and knee wraps. That's where I start. Shoes, I'm going to talk about that, I guess, because it's something that people just freak the fuck out about. So number 1, belt. I got an Inzer belt when I was 18 years old. It lasted me until I was 32. It was a 13 millimeter single prong, and it lasted me until someone stole it. So I have nothing but good things to say about those belts. I think the lever belts, they're a popular thing. SBD now makes the lever belt that is adjustable on the fly, whereas the old belts you had to have a screwdriver to adjust them. And for me, I squat tight, I bench one looser than my squat, and I deadlift one tighter than my squat. So I would have to have 3 adjustments throughout the meet, and that's just an annoying thing for me. So I always went with a single prong lever, just regular belt action. And then the reason I don't like the double prong is I've seen a lot of guys get one prong in and be struggling to get the other prong. It's just the amount of wasted time, effort, so on and so forth. Never had a problem with a single prong, never had one break. That brings me to Pioneer belts. I got with Pioneer a couple years ago. He made me a really great belt. And then he just made me another one because I liked the belt so much, but I wanted to adapt it a little bit. And I have nothing but great things to say. Customer service, second to none. The belt came immediately. The belt is 100% customized. Those are things that I think give him the edge over other companies. My Inzer belt, I've ordered 2 Inzer belts in the past, and one came rather quickly and the other one took an eternity and a day to get. The Pioneer belts have come, within 24 hours of when he said they would. So I have no issues there. Like I said, the color's customizable. You can get anything and everything that you want on the belt, and they're affordable. So my recommendation for a belt is going to be Pioneer. Contact him on Instagram. Super awesome guy, super good company here in America, and really proud to wear that belt. So gonna move. Sorry about that. There's apparently some kind of hidden trophy or something beside me over there, and a couple people were coming around to get their pictures taken and whatnot. So I'm gonna go on to the knee sleeves. So for me, the knee sleeves that I prefer are the SBD. That's not to say that there aren't other quality brands. I've put on the Strong knee sleeves. I've put on the Titan X knee sleeves. I've tried a pair of Iron Rebel. I will say that the Iron Rebels were a size smaller than I would have preferred, but I can give you my feedback on them. The reason I wear SBD, and I am different than anyone else. And this is how you should think. You shouldn't give a real fuck what I think about the gear brand, but you should try different ones and wear them. But I'm going to give you my opinion. When I put on the SBD sleeve, for whatever reason, for however it's cut, because of the surgeries that I've had with my knee, when I put it on, I feel pressure at the quad tendon. I feel it on the sides of the knee, around the kneecap, and I feel a release going over my calf. I tend to have fatter calves than my knee, and I don't like that constriction at the bottom. So I like a little bit of a flare out at the bottom, and I like the compression on the quad tendon. I like the compression at the sides of the knee, and also on the patella. That is what the SBD does for me. When I get under a squat, I am never ever thinking, holy shit, I'm worried about my knee when I'm wearing those knee sleeves. I've worn the Strong sleeves. I've worn the Titans with the X cross. I've worn the Iron Rebels. Like I said, they were a size small, and all of them had constriction below the knee at the calf, and none of those brands gave the compression around the knee joint that I need. There are other guys that will tell you, hey man, you're going to love the Strong sleeve. That's awesome. I'm not going to argue with them. I am not everyone else, and not everyone else has had 13 knee surgeries. So when I put on a knee sleeve, I don't give a fuck about a brand. I don't give a fuck about what anybody else tells me. I know that if I can squat confidently in a pair, if they said piece of shit as the brand name, I would wear them because I have to be confident in this knee. That was something that I tried to wear the Strong sleeves in different sizes, 3X, 2X, whatever, and just didn't have that fit the way that I need it. And I have nothing bad to say about any of the other brands. You look across the board and there are guys squatting big in every single brand that I just named. So I think that's where you have to look, is what the majority of people are wearing, rather than just say one person's preference here or there. I know that SBD 100% stands behind their product. If you have any issue whatsoever, you just call them or call Ken Anderson, and they'll make it right. I don't remember the exact situation, but I know that they had some that were, somebody posted that they were weighing like 0.6 of an ounce lighter. I don't remember. It was 6 grams lighter, whatever it was. And they were saying that SBD was trying to cheat the consumer or whatever, but they made it right. It was just an error in measurement. And they also had a pair or two, I think, that came in wrong at the USPA measurement for thickness. They went back and they checked everything, got the specs back in line. That's what I like about SBD. They don't penalize the lifter. Those guys, all they had to do was notify the company, which they did, and the CEO of the SBD got online and communicated with them and made it right. I've seen Edward Koo from Iron Rebel do that. I've seen Mark Bell from Slingshot defend his product and make things right. So really, I'm splitting hairs. They're all good products. They're all similar measurements and weights. And for me, it just comes down to personal preference of how my knee is compressed. Now, my favorite knee sleeve of all time, of eternity, was the APT Strangulator, the black and white Strangulators. I got a pair from Chuck Vogelpohl. That might be a big reason why I liked them so much, but they had a lot of good flexibility. They were a 3 meter back when I was doing multiply, and they had good flex, they had good constriction, but I also felt like they gave good rebound out of the bottom. So I always looked for something that was similar to that, and to this point, I haven't found a knee sleeve comparable to that in a 2 meter or a 2.5 meter that I believe in more than the Slingshot sleeves, the red sleeves from Slingshot. Now, let me be honest, I haven't done a lot of trial outside of those sleeves. I did try the Titan Golds with the red and gold stripes. I liked them, but the material was a little bit slick in my hand, so they're in the ballpark. Again, I haven't used them enough to know how I like them at the top end, but just out of the pack, out of the feel of them, I didn't like the way that they felt in my hand. They were just a little bit slick, and I felt like I was having to re-grip to really tighten them down. But, I talked to Dan Green. He wore those for a time and loved them. And, again, it goes back to personal preference. I don't tighten my wraps. I don't pre-roll my wraps when I wrap my knee. I like to hand tighten and hand feel everything. And the red wraps from Slingshot allow me to do that to the best of my ability. And I've wrapped numerous people over 900-pound squats and tons of guys over 800. So I have a good feel for those and a good relationship and history with those, not only for myself but with other lifters. So it's going to take something hard-pressed for me to surpass that in my mind. Now, that being said, the APT is still my standard. They just don't make a two meter that I know of, and their customer service that I have seen has been atrocious. Like, stuff will never be in stock. I ordered a pair of those exact knee wraps with the intention of making them 2 meters, and I've never seen them, nor have I ever gotten a refund. So, I don't want to bash the guy, because he did send me that first pair, or sent our gym that first couple of pairs of Strangulators for free. But when I tried to buy a pair online, they said they were in stock. Then I got an email immediately when I ordered them saying they were out of stock, and I never got follow-up. It's just kind of hard to do business with something that you can't get your hands on. Now, wrist wraps. I was a dyed-in-the-wool gangster wrist wrap guy. I tried the SBD wrist wraps, the loose ones. I think there's a tighter kind and a looser kind, or more elastic kind, and I got the 36-inch ones on those. Love them. They are that slicker material. Now, in the knee sleeve, in the knee wrap, I wasn't fond of that. But on the wrist wrap, I actually am, because it allows the wrap to constrict a little more when I pull on it, because I constantly have tension the way that I wrap my wrists. That slicker material gives me more ability to wrap them tighter. And I'll have to do a video showing how I wrap knees and wrap wrists to really help you guys understand what I'm saying. But I'm a big fan of those SBD wrist wraps. I'm a big fan of the Gangster wrist wraps. A couple of pairs of Anderson wrist wraps. I don't know what they're called, but I've been a fan of those. And then there was an APT blue pair that I got back when I got those strangulators that I benched many 700-pound benches in multiply. So the one thing that I liked about the APTs, similar to the Gangsters, is the difference in material on the inside and the outside. They're a little bit softer material on the outside, a little bit more rigid material on the inside against the skin. I like that. The SBD doesn't have that duality, but I like the SBD the way that it slides around my wrist and gets tight. So for now, my knee sleeves are SBD, my wrist wraps are SBD, my knee wraps, when I get to that point, my starting point will be slingshots. I'm going to always be willing to test and try different things. That's what I like. I'm with a Pioneer belt. And as far as squat shoes go, I say just start with a Chuck. Just start with a flat sole, or start even barefooted, and then work your way up, and then see if you benefit from an Olympic heel. There are reasons that I think the Olympic heel can be a good tool for training, but I don't think everyone just needs to jump into an Olympic shoe because such and such lifter's doing it. I just don't. My feeling is that people can benefit from different things. You got to try different things to see what you like. No brand seems to be standing out better than the others. I think Marcos Macropolis said it best at Big Dogs down in Australia. You had 8 pro level big squatters. Every single one of them wore different wraps. That's really what it boils down to, is preference and feel. But I will say that Andre is wearing a many years old pair of those APT strangulators. So there's something to be said about those wraps if you can get your hands on them. They're pretty special. Just don't see them anywhere. So thank you guys for watching. Like, dislike, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Keep asking questions. I'll keep putting out content. Thank you guys so much.